get personal. I ain't lying, I ain't hiding, I've been grinding.
Good morning, guys, and happy Sunday. Welcome back to another Sunday meal prep video. I hope that you've been enjoying the video so far since I've been back. I'm kind of getting back into the groove of things, recording again since I pretty much took the summer off. Here is somebody to say hello to you. Say hi, Nico. Now he's going to turn his back. But whenever he hears me talking, here he comes running. We have a couple of good meals that we are making today. Number one, I'm going to make my chicken fajitas with a Spanish cauliflower rice. That is a repeat meal, but I'm going to go ahead and record it anyway. It is delicious. It is such a low point meal. I love it. And then I can have my baked Tostitos with it and still stay in low points. And then we are also going to have, which Nico's standing in front of my laptop, this Weight Watchers baked turkey and pasta casserole. It looks really good. Of course, I am going to make some substitutions and use my Fiber Gourmet pasta and different things like that. But overall, it looks easy. Bake it in the oven. I actually think I'm going to do that meal first. Well, first of all, I'm going to knock out my breakfast and fruit and all of that. But then I think I'm going to get this one ready. And then while it's baking in the oven, I can do the chicken fajitas. I'm not sure on the points on this one as to whether or not I will make my garlic rolls. But I'm also going to make one of the cheesecakes. So after this bakes, I'm going to go ahead and bake the cheesecake. And then I'll decide on the garlic rolls a little bit later. I need to calculate the points. Nico is typing on my computer. But yeah, I didn't print this recipe, so I'll have to have my laptop in here whenever I'm doing this one. But anyway, that is the plan for the day. If you are new here, be sure to click that subscribe button down below. It really helps out my channel. And like this video, share it if you think it is something that anyone else doing Weight Watchers is interested in, or even any type of diet, or if you just want to learn how to meal prep or whatever. The way that I meal prep is I pick 2 meals each week. My husband and I just alternate those, a Sunday night through Friday night. I pick 2 different meals and I make 6 servings of each, 3 for him, 3 for me. So then we each have a meal for 6 nights, if that makes sense. No, we don't get tired of it. We've been doing this for like 3 years now, and we love it. It is a lot of work on Sundays just to get everything done. But then once that's done, we don't really have to worry about cooking at all during the week, and it is great. So, also, if you haven't followed me on Instagram, follow me over on Instagram. I'll leave my Instagram handle for you here on the screen. And then also I have a really great Facebook group called Finding Our Way. I co-admin that with Roy from Recipes with Roy and Bree from Balancing Life with Bree. This is the icon to that group. I highly recommend that you join that. There's lots of great people in there. You can learn great tips, tricks. People share some recipes. You can share whatever you want to in there. So, without further ado, let's just get into today's meal prep. Right, Nico? We ready to prep? Huh? Alright, guys, let's get started. Alrighty, guys, I have my fruit and yogurt prepped for the week. These are for my lunches to go along with my sandwich. And I only made 6 containers because I do have 1 left over because Friday I went to lunch with a friend and didn't eat my fruit. So I just had to make 6 servings this week, and this is done. I'm going to get my eggs and stuff scrambled up now, and then we'll move on to making the meals. Alrighty, I have my breakfast ready for the week, my bacon and eggs, and I just always store my bacon in this Ziploc bag. Just always reuse the same bag every week, so then I just use 2 slices per day along with the scrambled eggs. And it's just so easy for me to just pop this in the microwave and heat it up and go. Obviously, they are better whenever they are fresh, so this may not be for everybody to prep your breakfast ahead of time, but it is a time saver. I don't have like 10 minutes in the mornings to cook a fresh breakfast. I used to do it. I used to cook a fresh breakfast every day, but then it just got to where I just barely have time to get ready and get out of the house. I don't know why. So this is what we do, and it works. And yeah, easy peasy. My bacon does stay crispy. Like I said, I cook it in the microwave flat. I showed that in a couple of videos ago, kind of how I do it exactly. And it is perfect all week long. So now let's start on our pasta casserole. All right, we are getting ready to start on this baked turkey and pasta casserole. This is by Life is Sweeter by Design. I will, of course, have the recipe linked down below. It looks pretty good. It calls for some nonstick cooking spray, a pound of lean ground turkey breast, a medium onion, which we are leaving out. I'm also leaving out the mushrooms because Charlie doesn't like mushrooms, a teaspoon of salt, a 12-ounce jar of roasted red peppers, which I have here, a 30-ounce can of tomato sauce, which I have here, and then also a can of diced tomatoes, And then we need some Italian seasoning, some basil, pasta. It calls for 12 ounces of whole wheat pasta. I'm just going to use this 8-ounce bag of the light rotini. I think that'll be plenty. And then 1.5 cups of shredded mozzarella cheese divided. So I'm just going to use the fat-free mozzarella cheese, and then 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese grated. And I have Parmesan cheese out here as well. So basically we're going to brown the turkey. I have some water that's starting to boil to put the pasta in. I've already salted it. I'm just waiting to get it up to boil. Once that's done, I'll just drain that, set that to the side. We're going to brown up the turkey, add in everything else. I also needed some minced garlic. I forgot to say that one. And then we will mix everything together in a casserole dish. And then it bakes in the oven for, how long does it say? It says about 25 minutes. It says bake until cheese is melted and the dish is heated through. So anyway, I think that it looks pretty good. Cheesy baked pasta and turkey, so can't really go wrong with that. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to get started and get the ground turkey put in. And I am going to salt and pepper it. It doesn't necessarily say to salt and pepper the turkey, but I'm sorry. I feel like everything has to have salt and pepper. But I'm going to brown this up, and then we'll be back to add everything else in. I'm just going to go ahead and get my cans opened. I'm not sure if I need to chop up those roasted red peppers. I might have to do that. And it's almost time for me to put the pasta in. The water is starting to boil, so we'll be back in just a second. Okay, so the meat is brown. As you can see, the pasta is actually already finished cooking. I had to like pull the meat off for a minute while I was chopping up my roasted red peppers. But now we are ready to go ahead and add in the salt, which we need 1 teaspoon of salt. Hopefully I can get 1 teaspoon out of here. I already did put a little salt and pepper, so that should be fine. And then we're going to add the red pepper flakes, which it says just a pinch of red pepper flakes. So we'll just shake some in there. That should be good. If you like it spicy, you can always put more. It calls for the roasted red peppers, which it does say to dice them, which I have done that. And then we're going to add a can of diced tomatoes. And then it calls for like a 28-ounce can of tomato sauce. We need a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. We also need a tablespoon of garlic. And then we also need to go ahead and add in the dried basil. And it just calls for 1/2 teaspoon of that. I'm just going to use this teaspoon and do 1/2. Perfect. So now at this point, this is going to simmer for about 10 minutes to let all of the flavors kind of melt together. I'll probably do a little taste test, see if I want to add any additional seasonings to it, because I'm not sure that is quite enough. I don't want it to taste too tomatoey. So we'll be back in a minute. I'm going to get my casserole dish ready, get it sprayed, so that we will be ready to layer it up and get my cheese measured out. Okay, we are back. I have added in the pasta, and then it says to add in, I think we have to use 1.5 cups total of mozzarella cheese. I'm supposed to put 1/2 cup of that in, and then we're using 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. I'm supposed to put 2 tablespoons of that in. So I have my mozzarella cheese measured out here. I'm just going to kind of guess it. I'm just going to kind of guess at how much is a cup, because we're going to top it with the remaining portion of it. And I have 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese here. Then we will sprinkle the rest of that on top as well in the baking dish before it goes into the oven. So basically, I'm just going to stir this up really well, and then it's going into this baking dish I have setting here. And then we will top it with the rest of the cheese. And then we're going to bake it in the oven for 25 minutes at 350 degrees. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. I have a baking dish here. This is heavy. Hold one moment while I get it in there. Okay, so we have it in the casserole dish. We're just going to top it with the remainder of the mozzarella cheese and the Parmesan cheese. I think I'll just sprinkle the Parmesan cheese on first. And then we'll go in with the rest of the mozzarella cheese. Again, I substituted the low-fat mozzarella for fat-free, and also substituted the whole wheat pasta that the recipe calls for the Fiber Gourmet. We love that pasta, and so I just use it in place of any pasta in any pasta recipe meal. So that is ready. We are going to pop this in the oven for 25 minutes. And it should be hopefully brown and bubbly by the time I get it out. Alright guys, here is the pasta turkey casserole fresh out of the oven. It is looking nice. Now, her recipe says to cut it into 12 servings. I'm sorry, but this is 6 servings in my opinion. That's one reason that I made the substitutions that I made. So I will have the points calculated, and I will try to put them on the screen here as to what they come up for me. And then of course I will have my Weight Watchers link and everything down in the description box below, along with the link to her recipe. But I will be dividing this into 6 servings. Alright, so I have got the turkey pasta casserole plated up into 6 portions. I do think that I am going to go ahead and make the garlic roast to go with it, because I feel like it needs something, either a vegetable or the bread, and y'all know I'm a bread lover, so I think we're going to make the garlic rolls. So I'm going to mix up the cheesecake after I get the chicken fajitas and stuff done, and that takes like 45 minutes to bake, and so that'll give me plenty of time to get the garlic rolls ready, and then they bake in like 12 minutes. So let me finish the chicken fajitas and get those plated up, and we will be ready to move on to dessert. Alrighty everyone, I am ready to get started on my chicken fajitas. So I have 3 chicken breasts that Charlie has chopped up for me. I'm going to basically use 3 pans. I'm going to cook the chicken in that. I'm going to make my cauliflower rice in that one, and then my bell peppers in this one. So I'm going to season up the chicken and cook it until it is done. Basically just salt and pepper the peppers and cook those until they are softened a little bit. To make the Spanish rice, it's 2 bags of this cauliflower rice, which I like the cauliflower medley, and then I use 1 can of fire roasted rotel and 1 can of original rotel. I typically use the Frontera Fajita skillet sauce, but I'm out of it, and I had picked up this one a long time ago. It needs to be used anyway, so we're going to go ahead and substitute that one today. So I don't know how this one will taste. The Frontera is my favorite one, but I'm out of it. I've also realized I'm out of my cheesecake mix. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make a cheesecake. We'll see. We need to make a run to the store anyway, but you'll also need some ground cumin, some chili powder, and some fajita seasoning, and then of course salt and pepper. So we're going to get set up here, get the chicken going, get the peppers going, get the cauliflower rice softening up, and this meal kind of comes together pretty quickly. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just spray my pans. That way I don't forget. Get that out of the way. We're going to go ahead and salt and pepper the chicken on this side, then I'll put it in and salt and pepper the other side. Okay, so that gets the chicken going. For the peppers, I'm just going to put the peppers over here into this large skillet, and then we're just going to salt and pepper and put the lid on until they are softened up. And I do put a little bit of the fajita seasoning in here as well. I will mix the chicken and the peppers together once the chicken is done. We'll go ahead and add a little bit, and I do like this Badia fajita seasoning. It's good, or you can use the packets. I've used both. And then for the cauliflower rice, I'm just basically going to put it in and salt and pepper it for right now. 2 bags of this, and we want it to soften up. Then I'm going to add the rest of the seasonings and then basically cook it until all of the liquid dissipates. And we'll go ahead and salt and pepper the cauliflower rice as well. Alright, so everything is looking pretty good. We're going to go ahead and season up our chicken some. I'm going to put in quite a bit of this fajita seasoning. I really don't have a measurement for it. I just measure to what my heart desires. And then I'm going to do some chili powder and ground cumin. If you've been around here a hot minute, you know I love both of those seasonings. Here's the ground cumin. And then in a few minutes, I will add in the fajita sauce as well. I kind of want the chicken to crisp up a little bit. Y'all know I like my chicken like really well done. Okay, and my cauliflower rice is softened up, so I'm going to go ahead and go in with the rotel. I'm going to do a can of fire roasted and then a can of original rotel. And then I'm also going to go in with the fajita seasoning and the ground cumin and chili powder. And basically I'm just going to mix that up and let it cook without the lid on it until all of the liquid dissipates. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put in most of this fajita seasoning sauce. Again, I have never used this Ortega one, but we're just going to assume it's going to be just as good. So I think that the chicken is coming out pretty good so far. The cauliflower rice, you see that liquid down in there? It's just going to sit here and slowly cook until all of the liquid dissipates, and then it will actually look like Spanish rice. I need to stir it up a little bit better, but just to show you. And then the peppers, they are pretty much done. What I'm actually going to do is transfer the chicken into this skillet, because this skillet is a larger skillet. And then we're going to add in the rest of the fajita sauce. And oops, I'm steaming up. We're going to add in the rest of the fajita sauce and then probably a little more seasonings and stuff. And I got to change my battery. Okay, so I have added in the rest of the fajita sauce. Everything is looking and smelling good. My rice is coming along nicely. It needs a few more minutes for the rest of the liquid to dissipate. And then this will be done as well, and we will be ready to plate it up. All right, here are the chicken fajitas. I have them all plated up. They are looking and smelling delicious with the cauliflower rice. Again, you cannot taste the cauliflower in this at all. If you could, Charlie would not eat it, and he loves it. I love to use my baked Tostitos that I get in the little bags. I do have that linked in my Amazon store, which is down below. You can get like a box of 72 little individual bags. Here, I'll show them to you. But you can also find them at the grocery store sometimes in the larger bags, but not all the time. So I do order a huge box of these little bags, which are 3 points each on Amazon. So I will usually have like 2 of these with one of these, because I think this comes out to 1 to 2 points per serving for the whole thing. So I have the room to have a couple of bags of my chips. So anyway, this is done. I'm going to do a little bit of a cleanup. We're going to throw together the cheesecake and then do the garlic rolls and call it a day. All right, we are finally ready to start on this dessert. This is the let's see here, Weight Watchers pumpkin cheesecake. 1 smart point if you cut it into 10 slices according to this. So we need 3 eggs, which I've already put my 3 eggs in the bowl, 3 cups of non-fat Greek yogurt, which is my Chobani that I usually always use, 1 box of the sugar-free cheesecake, or it says vanilla cheesecake pudding mix, half a tablespoon of caramel extract, which I don't have any caramel. I always have used vanilla and it's come out fine. 3/4 of a cup of pumpkin puree, which I have here. We're going to use 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and then 3 tablespoons, it says, of stevia, but I'm going to use this Swerve sugar replacement. So I'm going to get my oven preheated to 350. We're basically just going to mix all of this up and pour it into a pie dish, and then it is going to cook, I think, for like 30 minutes. So it needs to bake for 30 minutes, and then we need to let it cool and then cover it with plastic and let it chill overnight. So this is not something I will be able to eat tonight. It will have to, you know, set in the fridge until tomorrow. But, and usually Charlie and I cut it into 8 slices, so it could end up to be like 2 points per slice, but regardless, it's still very low in points, and it's very good. So highly recommend. Okay, so I've already showed you all of the ingredients. We are literally just going to dump them in. We already have the 3 eggs in there. I'm supposed to do the yogurt last. Oh well, it's gonna be fine. We'll just save the cheesecake mix until last and then whisk it in. Okay, so there's the yogurt. We're going in with our pumpkin, which, by the way, I love my new little measuring spoons that are magnets that kind of hold together. So highly recommend these. They come in very handy. So we need half a tablespoon of caramel extract, and this happens to be a half tablespoon. So we are just going to do a half tablespoon of vanilla, and then we need a teaspoon of the pumpkin pie spice. This is a half teaspoon, so I'm going to do 2 of these. So there's 1, 2, and then we also need a teaspoon of cinnamon. So I'm going to do 2 of these for the cinnamon, since this is a half teaspoon as well. There's 1, 2. So 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, and then we're going to do 3 tablespoons of the Swerve, or stevia as it calls for. If you have stevia. I never use stevia. I don't know why I've never liked it. So I'm just going to use the other end of this half tablespoon, and I need 3 tablespoons, so we're going to do 6 of these. Now I'll mix it all together, and then we will mix in the cheesecake mix. And this is what it's looking like. And we're going to go in with a whole packet of the sugar-free cheesecake. Okay, so this is what we're looking like. Let me get my pie dish. I'm going to spray it with the baking spray and get it in the oven for 30 minutes. So I'm just going to use this Pam baking spray. You can use the Baker's Joy as well. And we're just going to pour all of it into the pie dish. All right, there it is. She's looking good in the oven for 30 minutes. I'll show it to you when it comes out. All right, here is my cheesecake fresh out of the oven. It is still a little bit jiggly, but like I said, it has to set and cool. I'm just going to like cover it with a paper towel and let it cool for a while here, sitting on the counter, and then we will cover it in plastic wrap once the pie dish cools completely down, and then it will stay in the refrigerator, and then we will try it tomorrow night. And we've made this recipe several times, and every time it has been delicious. So I know this one's going to be good, and all we are waiting on is getting the rolls out of the oven, and then we will be done with our meal prep. All right, I am ready to make my 2-ingredient garlic rolls, which really turns into like 4 ingredients since I use garlic and garlic salt. But I have 1.5 cups of self-rising flour here, and then I'm going to do 1 cup of the non-fat Greek yogurt, 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, and then I'm going to mix all that up together, roll them out into 18 rolls, and then I will top them with the garlic salt and bake them in the oven. They are delicious, and they come out to 1 point each. Basically, I'm going to put the yogurt in and kind of stir it up until it's crumbly, and then you have to go in and get your hands dirty. So I took off my rings, so let's get started. So we're going to go in with 2 tablespoons of the garlic powder, and then I'm going to mix it into the flour really well, and then we will add in the yogurt. Okay, so that's mixed well. You just want to disperse the garlic throughout there so that it's kind of evenly flavored. And then we're going to go in with the yogurt. And again, I'm just going to mix this until it's crumbly, and then we're going in with our hands. And then my secret trick is to spray my hands with the butter spray as I'm rolling it out, and that keeps it from being so sticky. That's probably about as good as I can get it with a spoon. So we're going to go in with our hands. I'm going to spray my pan with the butter spray. Okay, so I have my scale here. I'm going to weigh this and see how much the dough weighs, and then divide it by 18. That way I know how many grams to make each roll. So I'm going to tear out the pan, and it's 531 grams divided by 18. So 29.5 grams. So we'll go between 29 and 30 for each one. All right, so we're ready to get messy. We're going to just tear it out to 0, take it off until it is negative 29 or 30, and we're going to get 18 of these. So let me get these on the pan. Okay, so I have all of them rolled out into 18 rolls. We're just going to spray them well with the butter spray, and then I'm going to top them with the garlic salt. Then they're going in the oven 350 degrees for 12 minutes, and then I will pop them up on the top rack and broil them just to brown the tops for a minute or 2. Alrighty guys, this is going to wrap up our meal prep for the day, but I have our garlic rolls ready. They are smelling, looking, I think they are perfect. They smell delicious, look delicious. So with all of that being said, I have completed another successful meal prep, and I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. Love y'all. See y'all in the next one. Mwah.
I've been trying to get my weight up, staying prayed up, meditating and taking time away.